What's up YouTube? Pete here with Green Dreams, and I want to show you guys around the farm a little bit this morning. Hope you guys have been enjoying my fruit hunting videos. It's that time of year, lychees, mangoes, everything's starting to come in right now. Got passion fruit falling on the farm, so everything's just kind of in full growth over here at this time. We're getting monsoonal rains on a daily basis. So I just wanted to walk you guys around for a minute and show you what a young food forest can look like in just a short amount of time. Just remember, we've only been on this site just over 4 years. Most of those plantings are within 2.5 to 3 years, some of them within a year old. So everything is very young here, in our food forest. Things grow fast here in Florida. So just want to walk you guys around a little bit, show you some of the development and growth here on the land, and show you what the place is looking like. So this morning here, I already kind of picked up some of these passion fruit that were on the ground around the farm, and we're getting a little bit of a light set right now, but not a really heavy set like we get. So these tend to flush really heavy a few times a year, and then you get that sporadic fruiting. So in one of my fruit hunting videos, I think it's actually going to be coming out today for y'all, I was just at Possum Trot in Homestead, Florida. And Possum Trot is where this purple possum passion fruit actually came from, the first seedling that's being propagated now and spread all over the place. So this large trunk that you see, this is that vine. This thing's almost like a tree. It's very large. The only bad thing I could say about these vines, they do have a freak die-off every few years. So this morning I probably picked about 20 of these up off the driveway. And I say sporadic because when it's heavy, there's hundreds. Like I had mentioned in my video, this literally becomes like a hard hat only area. These are just absolutely delicious. We sell these wholesale, usually in a 100 pack or a 200 pack for $1 a piece. I've seen them for $4 to $6. As you can see, lots of liquid. And here's that passion fruit for you. This is that purple possum variety. This vine's getting towards the end of its life, and you can eat the seeds on this. A lot of times they have a little bit of a sour, so typically the longer this has been off the vine, it's gonna get wrinklier and it's gonna get more sweetness to you. So this one was very sweet for not getting wrinklier, being off the vine for a long time. Absolutely delicious. Very refreshing. Kids like them, adults like them. They go good by themselves. They go good on dessert. Absolutely delicious. So we're in the northwest corner of Sandhill Farm, and this is the coldest area, and this is where we have most of our stone fruits or deciduous fruits planted. This is where we used to have that market garden. We still do a little bit of market gardening, and you could see a little bit of kales left over from that wintertime vegetable crop or annual production that we do here. We have a large windbreak of sea breeze bamboo here around the outside. And lots of the things that we're growing out here are more, like I said, deciduous fruits. We have lots of varieties of mulberry, figs. We've tried some blueberries, pears, persimmons. And then this area has really just kind of got food forested out. We've started to plant some cassavas in here. We have peaches in here. We have plums in here. We have lots of perennial vegetables for the summer. So things that we plant in the summertime here. Okra does really well, eggplant does really well. My favorites are like molokia, roselle. Those thrive here. They grow really well and they're nice picking. The leaves on those taste delicious. So that's a really fun one for us to grow down here in the summertime. And our sweet potatoes have established out really well. So, standing over here looking to my right, this food forest is 2 years old. We have a large olive tree right here. Here's that sweet potato ground cover. And like I had said to y'all, when I harvest those sweet potatoes, this is how I snap off those tips. You see, when you pull on it like that, it just comes right off of there. So I'll go through here, I'll take my basket if it was dinner time, and I'll just snap all these tips off. The more you snap them, the fatter they get. So like I said, sweet potatoes, edible leaves, one of the most nutritious crops in the world. They do have a little bit of a latex that comes out. You definitely want to boil, saute, or steam these before you eat them, but they're a delicious green. Do really good. We're gonna have more sweet potatoes than we know what to do with this year. We're only gonna harvest them right before that first freeze. Really, they're here as a ground cover. We're suppressing the weeds. You plant the weeds you want, you get the weeds you don't want. And I'm learning that in a lot of places. This is a field when we moved in. I'm getting weeds on those paths now. So we've started to introduce mimosa, different varieties of perennial peanut, anything we can do to shade the soil so we're not getting the things we don't want. We're planting the things we want. This is a forest system with the plant design that we want in the forest. So out here in the market garden, not everything is edible. A lot of things are attract, predatory, beneficial insects, a lot of things to feed the birds. We use a lot of native elderberry for that. Right now, the native elderberry is covered in flowers, covered in fruit. That's a catch crop. When the birds come in, when the predators come in, we're giving them something to eat other than our mulberries, other than our peaches. We're feeding a little bit of the birds. I'm sure they're getting some of the mulberries, but this is acting as a catch crop. It's giving them something else to eat when they get here. So I had talked about the aloysia or the sweet almond in my video, and if we could get up there with the camera, you guys would just be hearing, you know, nothing but buzzing right now. This is covered in beneficial insects. This is covered in bees right now. It smells amazing. When I open my front door, the first thing that I smell is sweet almond. You know, like I mentioned, my neighbors think that I spray for breeze on the farm. This flowers all year long. It's also, you know, very cold hardy here. Any part of Florida, you could grow this plant. So in 2015, we had Eric Tonesmeyer here with his advanced permaculture design course to tour the farm 1 week before he got here. We planted everything you see on the right side of this food forest. So, you know, this section here to my right is maybe a year ahead from this section right here to my left. No irrigation, no fertilizer, a little bit of prep and removing the grass, lots of hardwood mulch, a little bit of biochar. That's it. These plants are thriving on neglect. You know, we're not giving them a lot of love. They just went 6 months without water, you know, through that dry spell we had. Now right here to the right, I do have an overhead sprinkler. I did run this once or twice a week in those really dry areas when it was getting so dry through the winter, but we have no permanent irrigation in these areas. We haven't used this since the rains have started. So, you know, we have lots of things planted in here. We have olives, pomegranates, mulberries, plums, mangoes, bananas, papayas, persimmons, trying all different types of species. We're learning what does well in this space and what doesn't. We're planting more of what's really thriving. So we've definitely started to add more persimmons this year. We've started to add more plums this year. Those have been thriving on neglect for us. They've been doing really well. The plums did much better than the peaches this year on the farm. So here on the left, you'll see we have a lot of that native Fakahatchee grass. This has beautiful flowers on it too. I've never seen this spread from seed. I have people ask me all the time, do you get seed for Fakahatchee grass? I've never seen little ones popping up around them. I'm pretty sure in the commercial industry, and from what I could tell, this is done by root divisions. So they're splitting this plant up to make more. This one is actually ready to be chopped and dropped. You know, it's time to do that harvest cycle. And I literally just came through here 3 weeks ago, did the Fakahatchee grass, did the Mexican sunflowers. They're not quite up to a full capacity of size yet, but they grow very quickly. That's another grafted loquat, papaya, persimmon. This is a Pinto Palm. So when we first moved into the farm, this whole front field had a monoculture, rows of Pinto Palms, or also known as a jelly palm. This does make an edible fruit on it. So this is a pretty decent tasting berry. Kind of has like a cantaloupe, maybe pineapple flavor, you could say. It's one of the better flavored seeds I've had on a palm tree for sure. Another Fioja, lots of perennial peanut. You'll see through this whole area, there's that eco-turf. That's that nitrogen fixing perennial peanut taking over. You know, this is edible flowers. You know, so not only do we have a beautiful flower, it's edible. I mean, come on, stacking functions. That's what we want out here in these systems. So this is our native elderberry. I just dug these up from the side of the road. I didn't buy these plants. You know, we found this growing in the area. It was naturalized. I brought them into the farm and been dividing and spreading them ever since. Another one that I want to point out to y'all, and it's not flowering at this time, but I went to see Jim Kowaleski 2 years ago in Maine, going back again this year. From here all the way to Maine, I can't say it was the same variety or species. I saw native goldenrod. Okay, this is goldenrod. This variety that I have is definitely kind of spreading a little bit. This is one of our best plants on the farm for bringing in beneficial insects, predatory insects. This puts off beautiful golden yellow rods of flowers when it starts to flower for you. Very easy one to get. It's another one. I didn't buy this. I found this in my local bioregion. We dug some up, planted it on the farm. It's pretty much almost invasive now. You know, I can't get it out of some areas. That's what we want. We want plants that are going to take over. We want plants that are going to thrive. So goldenrod is another great one. Here's some more lemongrass. We've actually passed the stand of citronella just back there a little bit further. Got a big papaya here. Got some sugar cane here in the backdrop. That's an edible leaf. Mulberry over there. There's a different variety of chaya. So we had that skinny leaf on the other side. This is the more fat leaf. Some more Fakahatchee grass. Lots of firebush. Firebush is one that flowers in the shade. So everybody always says, why are you planting so much firebush? There's not a lot of stuff that'll flower in the shade, attract butterflies, attract hummingbirds. So, you know, firebush is definitely a really good one for the understory. We find it does really well. I have the standard in here, I have the dwarf in here, so I have a couple of different varieties. I'm gonna point out some of the plants that we're growing and how well they're doing. Just here to the right, we have a large guava. This is a Barbie pink variety. Definitely not supposed to be growing here. Like many things on Sand Hill Farm, we found the plants don't read the books. This guava is thriving. It's gonna be setting fruit here very soon. This is about a 2.5-year-old food forest here on the left. you're gonna see things like longevity spinach, papayas, avocados, cranberry hibiscus. We even have some flowering things in here that aren't edible. We have some angel trumpets. There's some Mexican sunflower. This is that galangal. This is that Thai ginger. Makes a beautiful orchid-like flower on it. If y'all want to come over and check out this flower, it's really something else. This is the one that's used for the tom kha soup traditionally. So if you go into a Thai restaurant, they're going to be using the root from this plant for that soup. This is an evergreen ginger. It's probably one of my favorite ones in the landscape. This next plant is a pineapple guava, or a fajoha. The flowers taste like strawberry shortcake. They're absolutely delicious. I haven't seen those set fruit here, but I heard if you do a little self-pollinating on those, you can get those to set fruit. So that's a pineapple guava or fajoha. Another wax myrtle. We've got some lemongrass. The grasses always like full sun. You can see that has a little bit of a droopy effect to it because it's not getting the sun it likes. This is great in tea. Obviously, you know, lemongrass. There's many uses for this as an herb. Smells wonderful, that's my favorite. Over on this side, you'll see where we just cut all of our papayas down. So to give us a little bit more access, you know, when these papayas are 10 foot tall, we get into those heavy rains that we get down here in the summertime, they tend to fall over. So we whack these down at just a couple of feet off the ground. We get them to fruit lower so they can actually handle the weight of that fruit when the soils get very wet. You can see in this area, we've started to introduce some perennial peanut. That's that flora graze variety of the perennial peanut itself. This is cranberry hibiscus. This is a great one. This goes good on sandwiches, goes good on salads, has a nice cranberry-like flavor to it. It's delicious. Just like I had said with my perennial vegetables, this is a young leaf. If you notice, it's a lot darker than these pale leaves, you know, here next to it.